Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Welcome, everyone, to City Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I'm your host, Philip Gilfus, joined by my co-host, Darren and Daniel. Gentlemen, what are you up to this Star Trek May?
I'm ready for Strange New Worlds. I want them strange and I want them worlds. And maybe
so cute,
an Enterprise.
He hasn't watched it yet.
But,
I know.
I'm sure. Hey, don't pull a curtain back that much. But no, I'm excited to talk about Strange New Worlds. Let's put it that way. So, no, I really am enjoying the show, and I think it's going to revitalize our efforts for chatting about new Trek, which is kind of what we're talking about today. But
yeah,
let's hope so. But we will find out this week because it officially airs, or I shouldn't say airs, streams. This,
the
in a
checkbox of released versus unreleased is checked.
Yep.
It drops. I don't know,
drops. There we go. Yep.
Like an album. What about you, Daniel? More DS9ing?
Oh yeah. We are in the thick of it. We just Odo killed another changeling. So yeah.
I mean, did he or did the warp core kill him? Because he touched some.
Well, he pushed him into the warp core, so technically he did kill him. And
why didn't he just morph into a butterfly moth and fly away? Huh?
But it was the Defiant warp core, so I mean, it's like a big battery.
No, it's such a powerful warp core. How do we fit it in this thing? Anyway,
so overpowered.
So stuff's about to get real. We're going to head back to Earth. I think here in the next episode or two, and that'll be fun. Good stuff. Right in the middle of like the really juicy.
I would have.
Stuff.
I know that's not how it goes, but I think it would have been funny if, like, the female changeling showed up at Earth and being like, "We'd like to extradite Odo for crimes against our people." Like, and they're like, "No, you can't have him."
The way, not that this matters at all, but like the way that it's a little heavy-handed. How many times that they say no changeling has ever harmed another. Like they say it like 8,000 times. I wish it was a little more subtle because it's like, okay, this is obviously about to pay off the end of this episode, but no changeling has ever harmed another. And then of course, he kills him. It's,
everyone will know my name that means nothing.
And he'll face the worst punishment there is.
Not being a changeling.
Yes.
It's like so egotistical. What about you, Philip? Eat any good books lately?
I'm as usual. Still watching Voyager. I'm enjoying it. I'm still. I was going to say waiting for it to get off the rails. That doesn't really happen necessarily. But anyway, no, it's just
waiting for them to get closer to home. Is that how
I guess
how it works?
Voyager is that prequel show for season 2 of Picard, right? Because that was mentioned this week in Picard.
No, it's a prequel to Prodigy, is what it is.
Oh.
Technically, that's true. Yeah,
many prequels. Awesome. Well, we'll be talking about all things Star Trek as we usually do here. So we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to be hitting everything today, hopefully. So it's not really a game, more of a structured discussion panel. But basically what we're going to be doing is we're going to have
can't win is what.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Or lose.
Or draw. Because it's an audio medium. But we're going to have sort of 3 rounds that we're going to go through here. So we've done some prep, which is unusual for us. But for the first round, we're basically just going to do a little game, for lack of a better word, called Selling Trek, where each of us is going to take turns selling one series of Trek. And the sort of hypothetical scenario I gave all of us is that there's a person who only has access to one series of Trek. So whether it's TOS or TNG or what, blah, blah,
you have
blah.
one VHS tape encased in dust that they can watch.
No, it's a Blu-ray. It's the 21st century. But no, I'm kidding. And so but you have to sell them that they're gonna, why they should watch it. And the sort of part 2 of that is you have to suggest where they should begin in their watching. So we'll go through just all the what we call legacy series in order, -1. In round 2, we're going to hit 21st century Trek, and we're just gonna kind of round robin with all the new series. New sort of. I'm hand quoting because at some point some aren't really that new anymore. But we're just going to talk about
this
all
era.
the Kurtzman era on TV. I always feel like I have to say Kurtzman era on TV. But I say Kurtzman era includes Kelvinverse. So I feel like Kurtzman era on TV. But anyway, that we're just going to say what each new series, positive only. Maybe it'll be may say less about others, but positive only what each series has brought, or what we think about it. And then for the last round, after withholding all those negative thoughts, we're going to let them all out. And each of us is going to nominate one season, not series, but just one season of Trek that we believe should be erased from existence.
Now, see, that's really confusing because you're in the UK now, and season and series mean completely different things to them.
So basically, which series or which season is a year of hell? Just going to hit it with the time's up.
Day one. We're back to the beginning.
Exactly. So we're going to go somewhat in production chronological order. I was going to say chronological, but then I'm thinking in universe. But we're going to start at the very beginning with the original series, and I'm going to start with me. This person who only has access to one portion of Paramount Plus or a Blu-ray or whatever has TOS. So what makes TOS a Star Trek series worth watching? So I mean, I think the easy part is
at first I thought you were like giving yourself the going first because you wanted to help us out, and now I know you just picked the easiest of all series for yourself.
Well, I'm the only one who's seen it all too among y'all.
Oh,
I'm kidding. Actually, probably not. That's probably true. But anyway, but I mean, it is where it all comes from, and. No matter in this hypothetical person, I mean, they still live in the world and know what Star Trek is. So, like, you're going to know Kirk, Spock, the guy with the pointed ears. There's the Enterprise. There's Klingons. There's Scotty. You know all those things. But I would say TOS is more than its stereotype. There's good episodes, there's bad episodes, but there's more than what you just think it is. It's not a cartoon. We'll be talking about the cartoon, but it's not just a cartoon, and I think for all it's sometimes dated, something in the '60s, but it's the original, it's the OG vision of the future. Again, we can go through all the problems, but the OG vision is there, and you're gonna laugh. There's gonna be funny episodes. There's gonna be dramatic episodes. There's gonna be Bones slapping a pregnant woman, whatever you classify that as, and you're going to see aliens that, of the time that are pretty interesting looking, and Andorians and Tellarites and Klingons and Hortas and all that.
Those are Klingons?
And you're going to see sort of the building block of what all of Star Trek comes from. So, this is the cheap way, but I'm just going to say you start at the beginning. And in fact, I would encourage them to do the work and start in the in-universe chronology. Because if you start from the beginning, technically you're starting in the man trap. But I'd say no. Here I'm sure there's a DVD extra with the cage on it. Watch that, and then Where No Man Has Gone Before, and then from there. There's not really an order. After that, you can watch in whatever order, doesn't matter. But, after that, you can go in whatever order. So that's why I say TOS. I mean, it is the OG, but I think it's not just because it's the first. I mean, just because something came first doesn't necessarily mean it has all the quality, but I think you will find something to hook on to. Even someone, maybe a younger person, and you're like, I don't want to watch a 60s show that's not like today's shows, but I think you will find something. Like I said, whether it's a funny or dramatic or a character piece, it is timeless. I mean, we're all Star Trek fans, but it is timeless. Even if sometimes it can be a little goofy. And like I said, start at the beginning. That was pretty easy, right?
No, you started before the beginning.
Well, that's true. The beginning of the beginning, the prequel of the beginning. Exactly.
That's right.
Issue 0.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Year 1.
Exactly. So now I'm doing some gimmies here. We're going to let people warm up here. So next, Darren, you have something you should know about the animated series, or as I know you call it, Star Trek.
Season 4.
Exactly. It's like, hey, random citizen, did you like the original series? Well, guess what? There's more of it. It's just animated. But yes, the animated series is a great just continuation of TOS. And wondering about which episode to watch, guess what? It doesn't matter what order, because this is called episodic television. So you can watch it in pretty much any order as long as you watch a season at a time. Those are usually when the jumps and people die and dramatic things happen are between seasons. But if I were to pick, I would go with the second episode of season 1. There's only 2 seasons. It's very, very easy. You could finish this whole show in like an afternoon. It's very quick. But I would go with episode 2, Yesteryear, which is our favorite episode with Spock traveling back in time to rescue his younger self. You get time travel. You get a great Spock episode. And if you didn't love Spock by now, you're going to love Spock. He's going to be your favorite character. You're never going to want to see anyone ever play him again, except for animated Spock. But the animated series is a great continuation, written by the same people, voiced by the same actors, sometimes by the same people, doing multiple characters. But it's a great continuation of Star Trek. If you want just more TOS, this is exactly what you're going to get. And with the shorter episode format, with it only being around 20, 25 minutes, again, you can watch 3 an hour. You could, I'm not kidding when I said you could, binge through the animated series in a weekend if you really wanted to. Try that with any other series.
How much cereal are they consuming?
Oh, lots of cereal. Like, you need to be hopped up on sugar. The more sugar content, the better.
Did they ever have a Star Trek a cereal?
They probably did. I would not be surprised. It sounds like a thing in the 70s.
Darren, I'm very familiar with Star Trek merchandise. I doubt they did, knowing how they merchandise Star Trek.
That's true.
Did the cereal come in a helmet?
You ate it. Yes, you ate it in the Spock helmet bowl, upside down. The infamous Spock.
First thing that pops up when I search for Star Trek cereal are Frosted Flakes.
Frosted Flakes. I've seen that. Yeah. So, I think you're right. I think that makes too much sense of a tie-in, Philip. That's why they didn't do it, because they only did the obscure and,
Apparently, and I'm looking at it right now, there was a Kellogg's Sugar Smacks Star Trek version, and you can buy it on eBay for $15, a box of it.
And I'm sure it's still good. All those preservatives.
Oh, God. Imagine opening that box. Gross.
Why is it not? It's like crunchy. It's like, no, it shouldn't be hard like this.
Yeah, we only eat Tribble cereal. So.
But yes, that would be my pitch for the animated series. Just start with Yesteryear, and definitely make sure you include more Tribbles, more Tribbles, more Troubles. And then you can really go anywhere from there.
Awesome. Now we're going to skip Next Generation because, look, we could all do that easily.
We don't need to
just watch
Next Gen.
Just watch it.
Yeah. We have like 150 episodes of something you can listen to if you're really interested. But so we're going to skip ahead. Also an easy one since you're in that world. Daniel, tell this hypothetical person why they should watch DS9.
Okay. Well, if this hypothetical person had watched Star Trek or the animated series, or the animated series, or
that's true. We're assuming this is the same person that we're progressively every week he comes back. Give me some more of that Star Trek. And you're like, well, hey, I got another.
And that other guy lied to me. What do you have?
Yeah, and they might have seen the Next Generation as well. Those things, like Darren mentioned, are very episodic. And if you ever thought to yourself, man, what would have happened if we stayed on that planet right after first contact, or what would have happened right after this episode? We just stayed there, and things just kept happening, because things do keep happening, right? Well, then I have the show for you, and it's called Deep Space Nine, because we go to a very boring planet and we stay there the whole time. But trust me when I say it's worth it, because a lot of exciting, very cool things happen, and you get to live and breathe in this Star Trek world in this one area of the galaxy. Which at first seems very innocuous, but of course very quickly becomes very important. And it's fantastic. It is 7 seasons of great character development and world building. And, not everything's perfect. They don't land everything a 10 out of 10, but it's about as close as I think Star Trek gets in terms of consistency. TNG and TOS can be up and down depending on, but I think when you're creating a story and you're building on it, Deep Space Nine is the best for that. And of course, for that reason, I would say you should start In season 1, I've heard it suggested before that you could start at season 4 with Way of the Warrior, where it kind of soft reboots into a newer version of itself with Worf and all that sort of stuff. And you could do that. I would not argue that. I would say start at season 1 and get that relationship building with all the characters, learn about all of their backstories. Nice and slow build. It's like a snowball. It's a snowball effect, right? Everything just builds and builds and builds on itself, and the thing gets so big. By the end, you're just like mind blown. What is happening? Look at all these events and things and characters, and so yeah, that would be my pitch for Deep Space Nine.
All right.
I love the fact at the beginning you're like, they go to the most boring planet and stay there, and I'm like, and then in the first episode, it's so boring they move the station away from that planet to the awesome new wormhole because that's where we want to be.
Yeah, no.
I'm also just picturing someone, down on Bajor, like in their little airport or something, and they're looking at the flight, delay or whatever for this trip to the station, and then the time just gets longer and longer because the station's moving. Like, what the heck? I was supposed to be there at noon, and it's like 3-day trip. It's like, what? It's in orbit. It's
more like walkabout.
We assume Bajor has some sort of a spaceport, of course, but you wouldn't know it from watching the show because all they show are poor farmers that have no technology.
There's a lot of peninsulas on Veda, on Bajor. I know that. There's a lot of farmers.
Yep, there's 2 reclamators on that planet, and they can't make any more. So
I like that. Like, you're taking your whatever it's called in 10th grade. You're we're going to tell you what job you're going to get in the future class, test, and it's like you're either going to Vedic or farmer. Those are the.
We've got religion and we've got farmland.
There's militia, I guess, but that's if you flunk the other 2. Cool. All right. Well, I'll continue with Star Trek Voyager, which is what I'm currently into, and I think how I pitch or Star Trek Voyager is that it is the spirit of both the original series and the Next Generation in a newer form. So, if potentially TOS is going to obviously seem quite dated when you look at it visually and, in other ways as well. And TNG, you can see the late 80s into early 90s visual medium. Star Trek Voyager looks the same. Throughout its entire run. It is peak 90s television as far as technology and special effects and the look. And, we even throw in some CGI there, get a little crazy midway through with one of the first, I don't know if it's the first, but one of the first CGI only aliens, I think, on television. And you get the spirit of exploration of a ship that's experiencing new things. It's not a world that they know. It's an unknown world, and so just like sort of the spirit of Star Trek, which I don't know, we all agree with, but anyway, that people will agree with. I'm not saying everyone is that it's exploring new races. So it's not like maybe a TNG or DS9 where it's this built world and we maybe know everything. It's new. It's new to the crew. It's new to the aliens, and so it's you never know what's going to come up the next episode. There's no predictability because they're just traveling home, and we don't know what's in that next sector. And it's a journey. It's really to the journey. Now that I think about it, but that's what I like about Voyager, and you get kind of a different rhythm. Captain Janeway is. I'm not going to go through every character, but Captain Janeway is a unique captain. Whether for good or ill in people's opinions, but she's a unique character that you'll certainly remember during the watching of the series. And where to start? I feel it is a cop-out to say the beginning, but I'd say the beginning because, in my opinion, is the one who's selling the series. It comes out fresh out of the box. I think Voyager is one of the few series that comes out like at 80 or 90%, these are the characters. The actors seem to know who their characters are, and there's some characters like the Doctor who purposefully get built on, he's not like 100% out of the box, but that was the plan, to build this character. And so I it's an enjoyable series in that fashion, and like I said, it's always going to be something new and episodic. There'll be some serialization in bits and pieces. There's not big arcs, but there's some Seska recurring villains, some Kazons, some Borg queens, and then there are alien races. Even though we're going home, who you may meet once and you may meet again later. So don't just the Vidians seem like bad guys. Hold on, you might see them maybe a couple seasons later or something. So you never know who's going to come around that next corner. So that's how I would sell Voyager, that it's a diverse crew with a diverse mission, and you never know what's going to happen next. And let me start at the beginning. Like I said, I think, I'm sure there's might be some other argument, start season 4 with 7, but that's ridiculous. So start at the beginning.
Now picturing someone watching it slightly out of order, and like their third episode, they pick like something in season 1, and they're like, "Why are we so much farther from Earth? Did we go back?" Because Voyager does have that nice throughput of like we have our ultimate goal, which DS9 or other shows don't really have, like, which isn't bad. It's just it's a comfort.
You know what they should have had in the Master Systems display on the bridge? They should have had like a big a timeline, and like Voyager is this close to Earth, and then it moves a little bit closer.
See, Daniel, like that makes you think of like any episode of any show or movie that's ever had a countdown on it, and it never lines up with what it should in editing. So I mean, I like your idea, but
you don't want it to be Star Trek 5 decks.
They're gonna want to. Hey, let's reuse that shot of them walking down the corridor. Oh no, we can't, because they walk in front of the progress line, and
no, no. This is an easy thing to do. This is very easy. Like the entirety of season 1, for example, it wouldn't move. Essentially, like maybe by the end it would have been moved 1%.
Okay, guys, let's check progress. You just
because it's a big long bar, right? And then there's that one episode where Kes kicks them, so that moves like 10% or whatever it was, right?
That would have been nice.
They got the ladder.
A progress bar.
Up. Yeah, there you go. Do it that way. That's fine.
So yeah,
Year of Hell. They just keep going bloop bloop, pop it back.
There was this is very tangential. There's a game I watch online, but anyway, one of the rounds in the game was that you had to guess the movie based on the timeline. So like you just said, like they showed like hashtag with the year, and it would either be like 3,
Back to the Future has a certain pattern to it. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Or like Time Traveler's Wife, or, just think of anything
Memento,
where it's just, it was funny. It's a fun game, I think. Okay. All right. So, Darren, we're I don't know where we're going to go with this, but we're giving you Enterprise / Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah. So Enterprise is a great prequel show where because by the end of Voyager, and not as a critique, but by the end of Voyager, technology is really starting to like solve a lot of the problems. Like we have amazing weapons. We're Borgified our ship. We have holograms and all sorts of cool things. And so not that there isn't conflict, but what Enterprise does is take you back to a simpler time when you barely have phasers and no shields, and the world is a scarier place because of it. And it becomes less about Star Trek and the characters relying on that technology, and more about us as humans. What would it be like if humans got out and escaped their planet and started going around the local, neighborhood of planets?
No, they're spreading.
They sound like lab rats.
And that's exactly what Enterprise is. It's how it is framed when they start. And we are in that process of becoming the humans that we know and love from the other Star Trek shows. But in a good way, we have these first steps of meeting aliens that we can't communicate with and fighting ships that we are massively outclassed. Like, when's the last time, I can count on one hand, like the times the Enterprise D really was outclassed by a ship it went up against. So Enterprise is a great step back of, let's look at that human element and look at those characters more of that frontier. You get that frontier aspect that you kind of had in Deep Space Nine, except it's a moving ship. And you have terrorists and other things, that happen as well. But Enterprise is a great kind of new take on the starship traveling within the Federation. The Federation is just starting. It's so you kind of get best of both. Like you have elements of Voyager where you have a ship that doesn't have a fleet behind it. You have bits of DS9 where you're on the frontier, you're exploring and meeting, new races and species. But I would also say with Enterprise for starting, it also has a really solid pilot with Broken Bow. It really kind of sets the stage.
Did you know he was born in space?
Oh, jeez. I knew it was coming. But Broken Bow is a great start for the show. I know it's, I was gonna say it's weird to jump around, but I would almost say watch Broken Bow, but then watch Minefield. It's a great episode that really shows where the characters are going to go. If you have to pick one, you're going to be jumping quite a bit into the show, but you really start to see what kind of a captain Archer is, what kind of a crew his people are, and it's it's a beloved episode by many. So, but yeah, it'll make you wish you had more than 4 seasons because it really had a lot of potential and was going in a strong direction, but had to be there for the end of the Berman era.
Yeah, if I could just jump in to help you, there's also a dog.
There's a dog.
Yeah.
Is it? I mean, if you don't like, the dog doesn't die. So,
that's right.
One of those people that has to know if the dog dies.
Oh yeah.
Funny. The dog's name is Marley. It's totally.
He does actually die in a pretty tragic way, as we find out later on. But
well, let's go ahead and blend into it. That naturally leads to the final thing we're going to do here in this little portion, and that's Daniel with the Kelvinverse movies.
All right. Well, man, I don't know if I should start.
Ooh, not real Star Trek.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, I mean, we could. All right. Well, here's the thing. If you thought that that the original Star Trek was kind of boring, and that 90s Star Trek was also boring, and even Enterprise was boring, maybe you're just, I don't know, have a short attention span, then the movies are for you. These are great movies. Well, kind of. 2 out of 3 of them are worth watching. So that is a pretty good track record. I love 2009, as you guys well know. I think 2009 is a great film, even though I recognize that it has its flaws. I think that its flaws, like that it's kind of dumb overall, and then it's super actiony and all this sort of stuff, I think they're made up for in how the fun it is. Like, that movie is just fun. Like, even though it's dumb that you can see that they can see Vulcan from that planet or whatever, and it's like all this stuff is silly, but whatever, doesn't matter because you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna sit and you're gonna watch the movie for 2 hours. It's gonna feel like 10 minutes, and you're gonna have fun. The cast is great. It's funny. It's like just really, really solid movie. So, Into Darkness, I'm not going to defend or pretend to defend. Just skip it. So here's the viewing order: Star Trek, then Star Trek Beyond, because Beyond also, because that's the thing about Into Darkness, it removes all the fun. It takes all the fun out of Star Trek, out of the 2009 film, and it makes it like
it's Into Darkness.
Yeah, I guess. If you want to watch Benedict Cumberbatch again, there's a Doctor Strange movie coming out. So maybe watch that instead. Yeah, that's my viewing order. Star Trek, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, then Star Trek Beyond. So Star Trek Beyond, also super fun. Again, very funny, because, of course, that one was written by, or in part by Simon Pegg. And it's a fantastic film. And apparently, allegedly, possibly, hypothetically, we are getting a 4th movie. It's been announced. It's been there's been chatter about it recently.
And now we're off to the races to see whether that or the Section 31 show comes out first. But we'll have to see. But if you're in for 4 hours of cinematic Star Trek fun, you could do worse. You could do worse than Star Trek and Star Trek Beyond. So that's my pitch.
And in no way disagreeing with what you said, but I think it's funny for the first time viewer to be able to watch 2009, and Kirk, it ends with Kirk taking command. Next movie, Kirk, oh God, it's been so long in command of the ship. I'm so tired of it. Oh God, it's so boring.
The same tunic every day in my closet. If you want to see what it's like 5 years later at a job, that
that's true.
It's like Star Trek 5 to Star Trek 6. Here's your shiny new Enterprise A. Next movie, time to junk it. Awesome. Okay. All right. So we're going to continue in this spirit, and we're going to kind of move closer to modern times. And this is going to be round robin. And I know some of us may struggle, but pull deep into yourself. And I'm just going to kind of be round robin. We're just going to go through every series post Kelvinverse and just what you think positively it has brought. Could be like the it looks cool, or the characters, or the acting, whatever. I'm not telling you. So anyway, we're going to start with the elephant in the room, and that's Star Trek Discovery. So I'll say two things. I'll kick it off. For one thing, Star Trek Discovery, I think in and of itself kicked off Star Trek I know the movies and Enterprise are technically in the 21st century, but kicked off Star Trek for the 21st century. There's no denying that. There's no denying that because of Discovery, we have lots of Star Trek now. And so I think it certainly deserves that praise for doing that. And then second of all, I will say it is a very diverse cast in actors and in characters, and more so than any other Star Trek series. You're going to see people who you've never seen before on screen. And I think that's cool. There are a lot of good actors. Anthony Rapp, and I think all the other people, and Wilson Cruz. They're all good. All the actors are good, in my opinion. And so I think, yeah. So what else do you have for Star Trek Discovery? There's more. What do y'all have?
Two words: cleave ship. We get a Klingon ship that literally cuts through another ship while cloaked, and I'm like, you know what? Somebody had to do it. Those crazy Klingons are crazy enough to do it. I'll say that's a really good point. Just starting the fact that if Discovery season 1 had failed like spectacularly, then we would not be enjoying this new era of Trek television. So I have to give it that, which I know sounds like a backhanded compliment, but no, I think, for new Trek, for this era, you're trying to tell Trek stories and trying to translate Trek to a not really really not an episodic. Like when I go back and rewatch parts of Discovery, I don't really feel like, I'm going to watch that one episode, because that's a chapter in a book. It's very different in how you have to digest it. But if I'm more likely to rewatch it as a season and then just watch that entire book and see how those characters develop. So we're getting the most in-depth arc of a series because it is so non-episodic, because you have, you need to watch episode 1, then 2, then 3. Don't skip 4. You really don't want to, that the character is going to die and they're not going to be there anymore. So, I'll say that they aren't afraid to kill characters. They aren't afraid to shake it up. There's no plot armor thick enough to keep certain characters there. So I think that it has that going for it as well.
Certainly not afraid to get rid of captains.
That's what I was actually going to say was a lot of the characters to me are really interesting. Absent the whole overarching storylines that they're always doing, but like Lorca is a really interesting character. I don't love how that ended, but it's still an interesting character put it into a situation where like he was so gray for so long that we had no idea what he was or what he was about.
that made it really fascinating to watch. And Pike, of course, was great, borrowing from TOS and stuff, more successfully with him than Spock, but Pike was really interesting and obviously interesting enough to get his own show. So yeah, a lot of the individual elements of Discovery, I like. I like costuming and the look of the show. Of course, it's much more modern than the Star Trek that we had before, and it feels bigger budget. It feels bigger. I don't know how much it is comparatively, but it just feels like it's more. It's like everything's more cinematic and more dynamic. So it definitely brought Star Trek into modern times. It feels like modern TV times, because even though, like you said, Philip, Enterprise was 2004 or like 5 when it ended or whatever.
Well, it's post 9/11, so yeah, 01.
Yeah. It was like it was a 15-year gap. It still felt like ages, because that was like when everything that's what TV changed. Like that was right around like Lost and all that sort of stuff. Like TV is such a different beast today than it was even at the end of Enterprise. So we had no Star Trek on TV for so long that it definitely helps to bridge the gap, I think. So
I looked it up, Daniel. It's 8 to 8.5 million per episode for Discovery.
Wow. Okay.
Which is
and I think
good.
I think at the end of its run, I think TNG was like $1 million per episode or something like that.
Right, and I don't know what that is adjusted for inflation.
Inflation,
obviously,
yeah.
But,
Mm-hmm.
no, I think, and that's a really good point, Daniel. Where it I think sometimes viewers are still stuck in that episodic. They made this last week. Like that is not television anymore. Like people are like, oh yeah, they killed off that character, or they changed this because we rallied on Twitter. It's like, no, that episode was written months ago. It was shot months ago. It's been in the can. They've just been working on the special effects. Like you have zero pull on this show because it is not. We're making it while it's airing. Is we're making it. And then you get to see it. It's a different beast of television.
And this is little parts, but there are times, especially as fans, and of course, opinions will vary, that I recognize. Like I'd love, not everyone does. I love their Enterprise, which is basically the Strange New World Enterprise, more or less. And we already talked about Pike. But,
you mean as like an update of the original? Yeah. It doesn't look like we're trying to make it look like it did in the 60s, but it also doesn't look like Discovery. It looks like its own ship.
Yeah, and they definitely tried different ship designs. I know this is very small, but like the Shanzi, that's not what it's called, is it? Anyway, what is it?
Oh man, I can't remember now.
It was Shinzo, right?
Shinzo. Yes, yeah.
Sorry. The Shinzo. Well, that was a different looking ship, not radically, but I love just to change this is such a dumb thing, but to change the registry number to the side, blows my mind. Well, you can't do that. But it was
why they had to destroy it. You couldn't have anything nice.
And it was very almost bottom oriented, at least the camera.
Yeah, it's like I think that wasn't the bridge on the bottom of the saucer. Maybe. I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was underneath. Good for looking down on planets.
And Captain Giorgio was a very intriguing character. As you said, Captain Lorca, Captain Pike. I mean, they can do some good
Captain Saru.
And so I think they definitely know how to bring in some characters who will, for better or ill, draw you in. And, again, we're staying positive, not necessarily my cup of tea, but for others, I know it has explored a lot of what has come before in Star Trek. So whether it's, not a cup of tea, but, the Mirror Universe, Klingon Wars, and Guardian of Forever, and The Cage, and, Spock, and, all that stuff. So they're certainly tried. But anyway, so anything left for Discovery that we want to comment on? Okay. So, and I don't think I'm going in order here. So, but next is just Star Trek Lower Decks.
Oh yeah, this one's so hard to say good things about. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun show, and you're gonna get the most out of it, I think, if you are a Trekkie. It's very heavy on the references. Not that you can't enjoy it if you don't get those references. The characters are dimensional enough to enjoy their plot, but it's like getting 80% of the jokes. You're gonna enjoy it, but that extra 20% is really gonna come from their references because it's built around the references.
Yeah, it's like Star Trek candy, where like you wouldn't want it as your main course. It's gonna leave you sick if you have too much of it, or it's kind of empty and fluffy, but it's so good. It's like for what it is, the very specific role that it's filling. It's just 25 minutes of Star Trek jokes, every week. So it's like, yeah, that's worth it.
How fast can you binge this one, Darren?
I mean, again, there's 25-minute episodes, which I will say that's also a great thing about Star Trek Lower Decks is that it feels like the way the episodes are told feel like a full-length episode, but it's told in half the time, which is very difficult to do. And there aren't really, I wouldn't say there's two-parters. And it does have kind of it is episodic, but there is the overall arc of, Freeman's, mother and their relationship and other interactions and things like that. But this is also one where I would say like, oh, I'm going to watch that episode because that's the episode about the
movie episode,
the movie episode. And it's like, it's enjoyable in that episodic way.
Tom Paris. Right. Yeah, and because I think, like as you said, I'm trying not to repeat, but like you're gonna find something. Like even you'll feel like, not my favorite episode, but there was something in that episode you were gonna like. I mean, you're either something's gonna hit you, whether it's a deep cut or just a visual gag or a reference or a voice or something. You're gonna get your mileage may vary, but for us at least. TNG people, like we get to live in that world for a second, because it's not, set during TNG, but it's the spirit of TNG, or at least making fun of the spirit of TNG. And so you get that sort of, act structure, like you're saying, the episodic structure, the look and the references. And, everyone in Lower Decks has seen The Next Generation. I mean, like the actual characters.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about the writers, the characters. Boimler has seen all 7 seasons of The Next Generation. He's read all the logs. So, yes.
I would, that would be a fun episode of Lower Decks is, in a way, it would completely break the fourth wall, but in another way, you would still keep it intact. I want Boimler to talk about his collection of like late 20th century movies and literally reference movies that are real, because technically it's our future. These movies do exist, but because it's a media property, obviously you don't usually want to do that. But I want to see him talking about like the Lord or Star Wars or Lord of the Rings or any, Harry Potter or anything like that's actually a thing. I think that would be hilarious. They could do a lot with that, or not a lot, but like a scene about it.
I feel like he should be able to reference all of them, but not know all the content because it all got destroyed in World War III. So like he knows there's a Harry Potter, doesn't know what it's about, but
it was someone who made pots. They were and they were really hairy, but we don't know what magic might have involved. Yeah, they think all the saved pieces. There's no reference to Daniel Radcliffe. It's all Hagrid. So they think he's the main character.
Hagrid, Potter, in the chamber of whatever. Yeah.
Now I want them to make fun of have a character who is a early 21st century expert, like a Paris or a whatever, but completely,
and they get it wrong.
They get it 100%. Just nothing's hitting the dartboard.
Like he's like, oh, I know how to drive stick, and like just jams up the transmission every time or whatever.
These were iPhones. They were used to clean teeth.
Yeah.
They cleaned your eyes somehow. I don't know. That would be funny.
There's all the references to people gluing their eyes to it, and I guess it was some sort of.
Oh, you know what I want to see in a Lower Decks episode? I'm kind of surprised it hasn't happened. I want to see him time travel. They need to go to late 20th century Earth.
They could.
I know.
It's and then leave something there as a gift, and that's the beauty it'll be a gift again.
They could go to 2024 and not interact with Cisco.
Well, since you brought it up, Daniel, now let us go to Star Trek Picard. I'll kick it off. I mean, look, Jean-Luc Picard is my favorite character. I mean, am I not going to want a little bit more? No, of course I'm going to want a little bit more. And, you know, this is going to sound like I'm complaining, but I'm not. Going in the direction that we're not just going to bring back the Next Generation cast. It is going to be him in a new cast. I think was interesting, and I liked that. And I liked the spirit of, as I've often spoken of, I don't like these negative stories. People have people live, these great people we like, and the characters in their lives end up crap, which is kind of how Picard started. But I like the spirit of where it was. Picard was standing up for things, which is why he ended up where he was. It was his beliefs about helping the Romulans, and so I like that there was the spirit there. I'm not going to redo all my thoughts on season 1, but I like there was a spirit there of the Picard story and character, and bringing back. Sorry, I won't take all the time. One last thing. I'll let you all talk. And then bringing back Seven, I think was a character, certainly, we may have said, oh, well, did we see enough 7 seasons of Voyager? But I think, if you're going to bring back a Star Trek character from 90s, I think Seven's going to be on the list, at least for some people. And so I like that they did give her some more time. So,
I mean, I'll just say Nepenthe. I mean, it's a great episode. Just if it was just that one episode, I think it's worth it to bring them back to have. Yeah, man, just Jonathan Frakes is just so. I honestly was more excited seeing Jonathan Frakes than Picard. He's just such a great character, and obviously Riker's the character, but Frakes slips right back into that role like it was yesterday. He really does, and I think Picard has also been smart on not being Lower Decks, really, not giving us every character and every reference and every because that's what we want, but it's all candy. That would be too much. Having
we'll make the editorial note. We are
wait until season
2022.
Oh, I know. They got to build us up to it, but but season 1 we get 7. We get we get Riker and Troy, but we also get a lot of other really interesting characters. Then, honestly, it sounds like, and we talked about this with Discovery, a lot of times our disappointment really comes from we're given awesome characters and we just want more of them, but we either don't get a lot, or they're taken away, or they're
Rio's
changed.
Rios holograms,
Yeah,
Rios
exactly.
holograms.
So, it's, but no, I think Picard was a great setup for season 2. And
I mean, Stargazer, guys, have we not talked about episode 1? Stargazer. That was
such
an episode, wasn't it?
Beautiful ship.
That was a great episode. I don't know if we've talked about that.
And we get a fleet. We get a fleet of ships.
Imagine that.
That are different. That. Sorry, I should have said they're different ships. I know we're. So
I'll say, I'll admit to struggling a bit on this one because it seems my frustrations are only becoming compounded.
Full power to the empathy drive.
The Rios is definitely a highlight for me. There are certain characters, and again, actually, almost all the characters are interesting in some way. How they're utilized kind of falls flat for me sometimes, but Rios is great. Rafi is an interesting character, like you said, Seven, bringing back Seven and making her. It's a very different Seven. It's a very different role for her than it was on Voyager, and it's super interesting. And then there's that one lady that murdered someone. But other than that, it's fine. It's fine. I'll say that. That's what I'll say, and then we'll leave it there.
And I really did. I mean, this is my opinion. I really did enjoy the flashbacks in season 1 because it was, this was our first post-Nemesis show. I mean, technically Lower Decks, but you know what I mean. And filling in the gaps between, what happened between, the late 24th century and the early 25th century, and seeing the uniforms of, the 15 million uniforms that we got to see, and Admiral Picard in his uniform, with Lieutenant Commander Raffi, and helping the Romulans, and meeting Elnor and with the Rom. It was cool to me. So I enjoyed sort of the we're filling in the gaps for you. So I did enjoy that.
And that's true. I did like that aspect as well, where it ties into 2009. I mean, they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to keep the destruction of Romulus and the supernova and all that, but they did, and that becomes a major. Instead, they leaned into it. They're like, "Oh, this event is going to be a major impact, pivotal point in the history of the Alpha Quadrant. And what are our characters doing about it?" And we get a lot of it after the fact, where it's later told like, "Oh, well, Picard worked on the relief effort, and these people did this," and from the movie we know Geordi helped build the jellyfish ship, and this is the kind of galaxy spanning crisis that we're given enough time. Our characters are given enough time to interact with in interesting ways.
And I did enjoy the Data goodbye. I mean, was I crying on the floor about how Nemesis ended? I mean, no. I mean, whatever. But did the second chance, I enjoyed getting that second chance to say goodbye to Data. So I like that.
I did like Data's, like when Data aged at the very end, like that was a really touching scene. I really enjoyed that.
All right, well, let's move on to our on again, off again Star Trek Prodigy. Which
on again, off again as an airing, not as an quality.
No, I know. I'm just like, what is it? They're like, maybe I'll give you maybe 4 more some of them episodes. You got any more of that Prodigy?
Look, you watch this whole season of Picard, and then you get your dessert, and I'll give you 2 more episodes of Prodigy. That is how they're doling it out. Yeah,
I mean, I'll just start off with a simple statement. It is the best Star Trek in the 21st century. That's my opinion. I stand by it. Maybe Strange New Worlds will take that place. Star Trek Prodigy is the best Star Trek in the 21st century. But
it's okay. We're focusing on positives here. So I just, to me, it's like it's such a bit. It's a weird Star Trek show because it's not at all a traditional Star Trek show. It's this ragtag group of younglings or whatever who are
the guy watching Deep Space Nine. No, I'm kidding.
But I mean, like this is literally not like these people are not. They just stumbled across a Starfleet ship, which is fine. It's like, whatever. I'm fine with. I actually okay. Here we go. I like the fact that it is a non-traditional Star Trek show. That in fact it is an outsider's perspective into our world that we love so much. And of course, we don't know how it ends, so I still can't gauge. I'm still like weirded about how I want to like gauge the whole thing. Like I can't say, like you say, Philip, so confidently like it's the best because it could fall flat on its face in the last couple of episodes.
It's 22 episode season. I mean, come on, guys, this is what we want out of Star Trek.
But I will say, of course, I mean the animation's beautiful, the characters are fun. So far this story has been interesting. Like there's not a lot negative at all to say about it. Like it's just a really solidly made show. So I really like Prodigy, and I'm looking forward to more Prodigy for sure. But I will say, and I know we're not supposed to say anything negative, but man, the way they're breaking it up makes it so hard to like remember like what's going on, and like why are they doing that? Can't we just get the whole show at once?
Understand. But then again, I don't understand why they don't have a Strange New Worlds international release policy. But that's neither here nor there. So anyway. But
yeah.
What about you, Darren?
Yeah, I mean, Prodigy, like Daniel said, it is a different show. But in a way, by obviously being highly aimed at children, but it has an overall message that is still very Star Trek. It's coming together, and we're better together, and we're stronger than our differences. And these are all principles that Kirk and Spock and everybody had. It's just in a child's lens, which does have a different flavor to it, but it is still very Star Trek. I would say flavor is a good way of looking at it. And yeah, I want more. It's like, I mean, maybe if they're still making it, obviously, but yeah, I think it would be. I'm definitely never been a fan of the mid-season break. I've watched very few shows.
What about the quarter season break?
How about 4 season breaks? Let's do it.
Even worse. Going the wrong direction. I want less season breaks, not more. But No, yeah. It's like, okay, we're going to have a 2-week gap between Strange New Worlds and this other show. So let's sprinkle in an episode or two of Prodigy. That'll got to keep those numbers up of subscribers. But
now is the I'm saying this half kiddingly, but I don't know, maybe because I don't have kids. But what I do know of younger kids is that they just watch the same thing over and over and over. They kill that DVD or Blu-ray of and maybe they were like, we'll just give them like 4 episodes, let the kids watch that 20 times, then we'll come back with the 4 more episodes.
I mean, that's not a bad way of describing it, but it's. I mean, my daughter's favorite character is Murph. She loves Murph. Murph's like everything.
He's the gloopy one, right?
Yeah, the gloopy one.
Okay,
the cute one.
I mean, he
eats everything.
He's meant to be the cute.
Oh yeah, he's totally meant. Yeah, that is why he's there.
They knew what they were doing.
He's the marketing character for sure.
Niche they are filling.
Yeah,
but no, for her birthday, I got. I'm gonna get her a few things, but one thing is a Prodigy poster she can put on her wall, and I'm sure she'll like that. And but yeah, it's a fun show, and I like the anchor of Janeway, of having that hologram. Like, it works. It's the it's the teacher parent figure, but it's done in a fun Star Trek way that isn't odd. And we're gonna only get more of it when they finally come out with the next episode.
Chakotay too, right? Aren't we still waiting for him?
Chakotay, yeah.
We get his and I'm serious when I say that. We get his redemption.
Could be. It really could be. I mean, why not? Make him great and awesome and cool. He could be awesome. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, so far we've only seen him lose the protostar. So talk about redemption.
Not so good.
The fact that he was captain of a cool ship just gives him like 10 extra points.
I get the impression it's like, we just left space dock and now I've lost the ship. No.
Look, his character could be a big screw up, but he could actually still be a cool, interesting character. That's still a step up for Chakotay. So I'm just saying.
I do want more Captain Chakotay. That would be good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I could actually talk about it for 10 more minutes, but I'll give the last couple minutes. Darren, can you tell us, without telling us, why is Strange New Worlds good? He's like, I got nothing.
No. It's just like we were describing about the things we liked about TOS and early TNG. The stories feel much more episodic. It feels like they find the balance. They find the balance between an episodic episode that you could rewatch or enjoy because of the plot, but there is movement in the characters, but not so much where you feel out of touch if you skip something. What really surprised me is I'd almost kind of forgotten that this is a spinoff of Discovery, of the time that we've seen Pike on Discovery. So I would highly recommend. Discovery. Yes, there's a show. I would.
We go from season 2 Discovery.
Yeah. I would recommend rewatching the Pike episodes of Discovery because
that's a trick.
It picks.
Isn't that all of season 2?
I guess.
Okay. I'm probably not gonna.
But it basically it picks up where Pike is dealing with those issues that he had from knowing his future. How does a man act when he knows he's gonna die and he knows his future? And this isn't spoiling anything because this is the Pike we were given at the end of Discovery. And that isn't washed away. That is still part of the character, and it makes him really interesting. And we do have, non-new characters. We have Uhura and others that we've seen announced, in public. But we're getting that great dose of new characters that we don't know of, and some we've seen from The Cage and other things like that. But I'm interested in these characters. I'm interested in Nurse Chapel and the Doctor and all these other things. So it's kind of like I'm saying best of both worlds, but it really is a great balance. It feels like a very polished, balanced show that it not only is giving great Star Trek moral lessons, but is also an encouraging show, a joyous show. Like, I'll be honest, there was the end of the first episode made me tear up. It had a moment at the very end that I was like, this is what Star Trek's about. And not to, oversell it, but I hadn't felt that feeling, I hadn't felt that feeling in a lot of new Trek. Not that there have been good episodes, but I'm not, or it's not like the movie episode of Lower Decks where they're tearing up over the the Cerritos because it's so beautiful. It's like, no, it's those moments that we really cared about.
She's a handsome lady.
She's so handsome. But yes, so no, I can't wait to chat more about Lower Decks and to explore. Yes, sorry. Well, I mean, Lower Decks too. I want more. I want all of
Lower Decks. Lower.
But yes, I know. I can't wait to talk more.
Ostensibly, I mean, I don't want to give the fans.
What are you guys expecting? I'm kind of more curious about that. Like,
I will say, I have very low expectations. I was excited. I remember, like, initially when this whole like thing was coming about, and like there was conversations. Like, I remember season 2 of Discovery, and I was like, man. He has such a great. It feels like ages ago. It does. It was like 3 years ago now. I was like, he has such a great captainy presence. Like, he did so. He was the best part of season 2 of Discovery. Like, hands down, no comparison.
Which is why he had to leave.
Yeah, and like, so I'm like, man, it would be cool. And now we're here, and I'm like, okay, I'm nervous. I'm not going to I'm cautiously optimistic, but I'm also. My expectations have been tempered by the fact that I don't necessarily love all of the current live action stuff. So I there's all this talk about it being episodic and being like TOS-y again, and I'd be cool to see that because it would be refreshing, it would be different, but we'll see. That's my thing. We'll see. And
I will say I feel that you're going to enjoy it. I mean, I don't know for sure because as we've podcasted for many years and decades, I know we have very different opinions, obviously, on many things Star Trek. But I think I think you'll enjoy it. I think it's a really good show. I mean, for me, it's Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds are like firing all cylinders right now. What about you, Philip?
I'm slightly higher than Daniel, but just slightly higher because I'll admit I'm getting a little live action-y burnout. And the latest trailer teaser for
helps when you don't watch season 4 of Discovery. You don't feel that burnout.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
You just skip it.
But like the latest trailer teaser, Strange New Worlds actually didn't make me feel better. But I trust you there. So I'm looking forward to it. I think Pike and Anson Mount is really what we mean. I mean, because this is. I don't want to give them. This is ostensibly a fan-created show, like Star Trek, or well, I don't know. What do I know? But I don't think Kurtzman was like, we're going to put Anson in here in season 2, and that's where stepping off.
It's not a backdoor pilot.
No,
it was a pilot because everybody loved him. And they're like, oh, we could make more money if we make a show about this character.
No, what it was a life support line because of the last episode of season 1 of Discovery to throw the Enterprise in there.
Yeah.
That was the entire, I think that was the entire idea was like, how do we get Star Trek people excited about season 2?
Oh, we don't make a show about Discovery, make a show about Enterprise.
Star Trek Enterprise.
Jenkins,
sir, the name's been taken. Damn, Berman. All right. But yeah, so yeah, as we've mentioned ad nauseum, not just this show in particular, but we're, even though, we may like parts of Enterprise, we're not a fan of prequels. I mean, Discovery, Enterprise, now Strange New Worlds, we know there's going to be potential issues.
Potential issues.
Yeah, canon locked.
I will say, for the 5 episodes I've seen of Strange New Worlds, it does not feel stilted or locked. I mean, obviously, there is the throughput of Pike's character, and we know where that character is going, and he knows where that character is going. But besides that, and the generic of like, we know Cadet Uhura is not going to ever die. Like, we know that.
Or Spock. Yeah.
or Spock. But
Well, no, Spock dies. I'm spoiler.
well, yeah, it's true.
It's true. Spock dies twice, actually. So.
Spock dies a lot.
Just like Buffy.
But no, it doesn't. It feels something about where they put it. It's far enough from Kirk's Enterprise to feel like there's breathing room to actually like just explore and be a new 5-year mission and just be Star Trek. So it does not feel, and I totally believe that if this is the first show that came out in the Kurtzman era, we all would hate it because we hate things. Like that's, no, I'm being honest. Like I feel because this was given as the alternative to the other stuff that's on television, you know, it's like, oh, you didn't like Discovery? Well, here's what we think you'll like. Like, I honestly feel that makes it more palatable to a lot of people versus if this had been what we'd been like, oh my gosh,
a prequel series,
a prequel with the Enterprise. Can you guys not think of anything new and creative, like a new ship with a new crew? We have to go back to the Enterprise. Oh, it's the Cage. You literally just watched the Cage again and then made up a show. That's exactly what we would be saying if this was the first show to come out of the Kurtzman era.
It had a really cool theme song. Oh, sorry. Prequel. All right, guys. So we're going to stop being positive in the last 5 seconds here. We can go as long or as short as you want. So this is your assignment. What season of Trek never existed? Daniel, I know you got like 50, but what's your one season of Trek you're erasing?
You know, I was thinking pretty hard about this, and I was like, well, easy, just Discovery season 1. But I don't want to remove Lorca. I really do love that character. Again, I don't like where he ended up, but I thought he was a fascinating character. Then I was like, okay, easy, Discovery season 2. And then I'm like, no, I like Pike. Pike is great. So nope. And then I thought Discovery season 3 because I haven't seen
like a trend here.
I know. Well, except he hasn't committed yet. So
I haven't committed yet. And I
like what he'll go through the entire 3 and 4 and just be like,
placed
I don't know,
on the guillotine
Lower
chopping
Decks
block, and just as he's about to strike, he's like, well, but I like that, so let's pull him back in the crowd.
It's going to be like DS9 season 6.
No, it won't be. So I was thinking Discovery season 3, and then I was like, and then I thought forward to Discovery season 4, which I haven't finished, so that doesn't count. And I don't particularly care for anything in Discovery season 3. Actually, Discovery season 3 is definitely my runner-up. But actually, it's going to be Picard season 1. Just because at the end of the day, I felt like that was, man, like the amount of tripping and falling on your face that season did. That last episode did that, the whole series, no favors. And I just remember feeling frustration, just immense frustration. Nothing was paid off well. Nothing was paid off satisfactorily. I just remember thinking, so you killed Picard and put him into a robot body. That was like the penultimate, the ultimate end of the season. And I'm like, why did we go through this journey? What lesson has been taught from this event and adventure? And like, there are moments, of course, that are interesting and fun and neat and whatever. Like you said, Darren, with the one where they visit the Riker planet.
The Riker planet. Riker Troy planet. Get it right.
Yeah, that's right. That's totally fair.
Mr. Troy.
But man, oh man. And maybe we'll see next week. Season 2 might be ahead of it. I don't know. I don't know how well it sticks the landing, but for shows, and this is why Discovery and Picard, of course, are the only ones I'm thinking of, because for shows that depend, they start the season with some event that has to be solved by the end of the season. There's no forward planning. There's no milestones that we're hitting along the way. It's always just, we stumble in the dark until the end of the season, and we don't even wrap that thing up in a satisfactory way. So I guess the synth ban is the big push of season 1 of Picard, and then Cthulhu comes out of space and we shoot at him, and then everybody likes synths again, and now Picard's a synth. Okay, I mean, that's it. So that's, sorry, I don't know how long-winded I was there,
That's fine.
but that's where I would go.
Okay, so I'll go next just to build on yours, and I'll let you close there. I'll briefly go in my journey. So, I was leaving TOS alone. I was tempted, not because I want this, but I was tempted to get rid of like season 1 of TNG just to shut everyone up about it. Like, I like it, but everyone hates it, so let's get rid of it. Guys, are you happy? No more racist episode. We're all good, right? So everyone will shut up. But I'm like, no, I can't do that. There's too many good stuff in there. I was like, well, maybe season 2. I know there's some stuff in there. And then I was going through DS9, but and then I just went to I'm not touching Voyager. Enterprise I played with. I was like, maybe get rid of season 3. But I'm like, there is good stuff in there, even though it's not my cup of tea. There is good stuff in season 3. And also in my head, if I'm getting rid of a season, it has to still connect. So if I'm getting rid of 3, 2 and 4 have to connect, which I think they could. But I'm like, okay. And then and then went to the Discovery, which the same way. Season 3 or 4 Discovery, not my favorite. Obviously, that's being generous. But you get rid of 3, well then 4 has to be the one in the future, and maybe 3 or 4 is better than the other. So pick your stuck in the future season with a galaxy destructive antagonist. But where I came down, and the reason I wanted to go next, Daniel, Picard season 2. Picard season 2 is my answer. And I hate to be like, oh, that's just what you just watched. Well, maybe that is why. But I'll tell you, I'm disagreeing with you, Daniel, because given between 1 and 2, I like the spirit of 1 better. Like, not knowing what 3 will bring, I feel like even if 1 wasn't perfect, Picard season 1. Season 3 is now season 2 soft reboot. We're going to try this one more time, guys. Which I thought is what season 2 was, and I don't want to exaggerate that. I think like season 2 is like a pile of blood. I don't think that it's that bad, but it's not giving me anything worth keeping at this point. In a 3, we know it's only going to be 3 seasons. So this 3-season mini Trek series, I'm like, given between 1 and 2. 1 gave me some spirit to work with, which I already talked previously with Picard's character. I can get rid of 2. So that's me, Picard season 2. So
I might agree with you next week, Philip. So, we'll see how the ending goes for me. But yeah.
All right, Darren, please don't say Picard season 3.
No, so this was hard, and I'll probably cheat because I'm trying to not
TAS season 2. I can lose those 5 episodes.
No, it's kind of like that. Okay, this is how I'm cheating. I'm gonna keep Caretaker because you need Caretaker to literally start the show. But I'm gonna get rid of the rest of season 1 of
Half
Voyager.
a season. That's how he's cheating, folks.
Yeah, it's I got 14 episodes I'm cutting. That's it. Because there's only 16 in season 1. No, but actually I did kind of look through it and I'm like, yes, we could easily say that there is character development. There's lots that progresses, but, we don't have the 2-part episode season, between the seasons, we're not building in that way. So I'm trying to remember the episodes in season 1 of Voyager, like besides character. I mean, Caretaker. I mean, obviously there.
Second one's the candy corn episode.
Yeah.
Imagine
it's like the phage, the cloud.
I mean, the phage is a good one.
Imagine.
Again, I'm not saying that they're not good. I'm saying, if I could live without season 1 of Voyager and start it a little stronger after Caretaker.
Yeah, I considered the same thing, honestly, Darren. But imagine like there a common complaint of Voyager as a whole is the non-resolution to the whole Maquis arc. Imagine losing that one Maquis episode that you actually have, and that's where I bumped up against it. I was like, oh god, even though it's not a great episode, but I was like,
that's the final episode, I think, of that season.
Yep, it is. Yeah, that's one where they're running through the halls and stuff.
Learning curve.
Yeah.
No, learning. Well, no, we're not. We choose what you want.
Well, I was also trying to choose one that wasn't the Kurtzman era because those are kind of, I feel like, easier because they're not complete. Well, they're not complete shows. They're, we obviously are viewing them at a different time. But so I cheated and went with the one with the the fewest number of episodes.
Is it fewer than 10 episodes? Because
No,
that's how many I'm getting rid of with Picard
That's
season
true.
2.
Well, okay. This is 16 versus 26. You know,
Cool. No, that's fine. Okay. Well, there you go. We got to be negative at the end. So it's all out of our system. All right, guys. Well, until next week, I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
I'm Darren Moser.
Stranded here positively on City Alpha 3.